back in World War II, I mean, there wasn't nobody going across the Canadian border much. And they were men.
If they could get you returned to duty, they return you right there. The kids don't realize the sacrifice you made every day, not just 1 month or, it was continual.
Spent 24 hours a day out there and nobody said thanks, kiss my ass, or go to hell.
For 3 or 4 months, my family, all they knew was missing in action. They didn't know whether it was dead or alive. And that hurt me worse than anything.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So too much of the war. People in the United States don't know what war is. They've never seen it.
I've got a good memories and a lot of bad memories.
Isn't it fine that they recognize, that this country recognized what we have given?
Dad wanted to see that real bad, And said, well, Jody called me and said, KY3's calling. Welcome aboard.
Since 2009, we have flown more than 30,000 miles to bring almost 1,200 World War II veterans to Washington. They will tell you they were not the real heroes, but later tell us this was the trip of a lifetime. Ozarks Honor Flight is one part of a national network with one mission: deliver the greatest gratitude possible to the greatest generation. And it all unfolds here at the World War II Memorial. The World War II Memorial is a history book in stone, and its giant granite columns and towering pavilions embrace those who made that history.
And she wants to know what it was like to be on the Monterey during World War II. And I told her hell.
The D-Day invasion was hell. The survival rate was 3 seconds. Army Private Jack Mills followed that first awful wave.
It's the most carnage I've ever seen in a place like that. You couldn't walk down that beach without walking over a body or a piece of body and everything like that. There were nearly 3,000 killed that day.
Pearl Harbor is part of the military history of brothers Guy and Park Piper. Guy had already gone on to Midway with the Marines, but Park remembers December 7th like yesterday.
They hit the Oklahoma, and just seconds or minutes it turned over.
Were you ready to come home after that?
No, I was mad. I never got scared. I was mad. I was wanting to get me a jack.
Some tears mingled with rain at Arlington's Tomb of the Unknowns, and invariably all veterans insist the real heroes did not come home, including Ian Arns, who lost a brother in the Pacific.
We went out in February and killed 19th day of March. The chap suicide bomber hit he was on the USS Franklin.
I lost my crew overseas, and so I sort of came in honor of them since I couldn't be here.
Iwo Jima survivor Casey Funkhauser had to look away from the imposing memorial to the battle that took 5,000 American lives.
We had to zigzag our shift to keep from cutting them up. That's it. 18-year-old boys.
What did you do in World War II?
I was a nurse in the Army.
Ardell Stewart came home from duty.
His name is Douglas Hamilton.
And came here years later to find her son.
There he is, ma'am. See there?
Oh, yes.
Who did not.
He was only over there a couple of months.
From Vietnam.
I sent 3 sons off to Vietnam and the son-in-law. So I've given my part.
Barely 20, Shirley Bass volunteered as a Navy airplane mechanic on a dare from her 5 enlisted brothers.
My mother said she was the luckiest woman in the world to have us all come back without a scratch.
Very often the memorial is the place where many make peace with themselves and what they had to do during the war.
A lot of them have ghosts. I was talking to one of the wives, and she said the thing her husband feared the most is when he died, that at the pearly gates, the things that he had to do during World War II would be held against him.
Some of the fellows that I saw die horribly, I still have been having nightmares about it for all these years.
He was just 19, a farm boy, and Buck Thompson spent the last 9 months of World War II as an anti-aircraft gunner on a fuel tanker in the Southwest Pacific.
In my mind's eye, I can still see the old battle wagon sitting over on the starboard, on the port side, shelling the beach, and every time them 16s went off, that old battle wagon just rocked.
But his war never ended. Unable to work until he was 30, and decades of constant nightmares.
It hasn't been 5 years, Steve, until I woke up in the night in a sweat.
From post-traumatic stress disorder.
Well, you never know when somebody's going to bring up something that it hits me and bangs back.
Strangely, one of the bronze scenes on the World War II memorial is almost a snapshot of Buck's military service. Surviving veterans from that era carry similar burdens for the same reason.
Whether you live, whether you die, doesn't matter. The mission has to be accomplished.
Clinical psychologist Mike Morrell specializes in counseling veterans in getting past their past. He believes just coming to the memorial gives many permission to let go of grief and the agony of survivor's guilt.
You cannot heal what you don't feel.
At the end of the day, Buck Thompson told us his journey to Washington finally brought him some peace of mind.
Reality is a wonderful thing whenever we accept it. And I accepted it. And I was looking forward to the time that I could accept it and look forward instead of back.
But more importantly, he said, a renewed sense of patriotism that he wishes we all had.
I can't back off because I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of it. I just want to come home.
National monuments cannot teach us history, only to remember it. World War II veterans have written much of our 20th century history with their lives, but few have seldom talked about their war. Some of them share their stories with us now. World War II ended in 1945, but it was not until 1948, by order of President Harry Truman, that the U.S. military was fully integrated. Many African Americans came home from one war to face another.
Why would you lynch me when you don't even know me? And lie and say, I looked at your sister or your daughter.
William Herndon is nearly 91 now. He made sergeant and was a military policeman with the Air Force. His job? To quell racial tension. Only then, he recalls, did he feel empowered in his uniform.
You can arrest white, black, green, or red in any military outfit they're in. Navy, Marines, Air Force, or whatever.
But also like the silent honor guard at the Tomb of the Unknowns, he remembers a loneliness in the midst of that bonding and brotherhood World War II veterans understand.
But we're still fighting it. Yeah, it's not over. No, it's not over.
One nation with liberty and justice for all is a journey William Herndon hopes we are all on. Many people know David Liang invented cashew chicken, the often imitated, never duplicated Springfield dish. But he developed an American appetite for his cooking in the U.S. Army.
One day, the sergeant, sick, put me on the cooking.
And he recalls a colonel saying, put that Chinese boy in the officer's mess hall. Wing Yin Liang left China for American citizenship after Pearl Harbor and enlisted in 1942. And when he wasn't cooking, he saw combat. He earned 4 Bronze Stars after the landing at Omaha Beach.
After half hour, German surrender.
He got very emotional about it.
He returned to Normandy last year.
When we were in France, we had people that were saluting him because they said that, without you, we would be speaking German.
David Liang's America is the true land of opportunity. If you had stayed in China and had not become an American citizen, none of this would have happened.
No.
You don't think?
No, I'm going to stay in the United States.
And I thank my dad every day and say, I'm glad that you moved over here.
Good to see you too.
I think if Bob Dole could have a cot here, a bed, that he would be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
He is the national icon of World War II veterans.
But sort of without Senator Dole, this would never have been built.
The Kansas Republican has made nearly 200 visits to the memorial for the same reason they are here.
Just the great people you meet, and the stories you hear, and, you know, and the tears that are shed.
Got it? Get it, sir.
All right, here's your one.
Good
job. Giving all who want one a Kodak moment and expressing personal gratitude to their supporters.
You helping out today?
Yeah, I'm with Ozarks Honor Flight.
In the midst of all of this, a Lebanon high school civics class touring Washington that also writes letters to Ozarks Honor Flight veterans.
Thank you.
Holy cow.
Taylor Morris was wowed.
We're the only class that has ever done this.
Dr. James Ford is their history teacher.
Do you think after they've been here, they get it better?
I think so.
And the lesson in all of this, the Americanism was not automatic. We did not do it all ourselves.
We're willing to pass the baton to the next generation.
For 90-year-old Robert Anders, his first visit to Washington was a first of another kind.
This is Phoebe.
This is the place the Marine from the greatest generation met the newest great-great generation in his family.
It's such a surprise to see them, and I'm looking for little tiny ones like this one. And
look at her, she's all grown up.
And here they are grown up.
The massive World War II memorial is also a symbol of hope that came out of the largest conflict in American history that touched every family. It is also a reminder that future generations may be called up to selfless service to the nation. Honor Flight was a trip into the past for Don and Bernice Pettijohn. He was a prisoner of war in Germany for almost a year.
It was a tough war.
Yeah.
Steve, it was a tough war.
She was an Army medic.
We pulled 36-hour shifts every 2 weeks and stuff like that. We were on duty 24 hours a day.
They met when he came home. Which was better, the end of the war or marrying Bernice?
Well, we've had a good marriage. 63 years.
This is the first trip to Washington for the Pettijohns, who served their country so many years ago. But what they say was happening then is happening now. History goes in circles. After they were discharged,
there weren't many jobs.
But she says,
we had hopes. People today don't have hopes. I don't think. But we knew things were going to get better.
Frey and Ray Hillhouse together at the Air Force Memorial overlooking the Pentagon.
We kind of planned it that way.
Their mother also wanted it that way when World War II broke out and they were drafted.
My mom tried to get us together. I went in 2nd of September 1942, and he went in the 5th of September 1942, 3 days apart.
Frey was assigned to the Radio Signal Corps from Egypt and Europe. Ray kept America's bomber fleet flying from England. It was the other side of the world from Ozark County. So when the war ended, Frey surprised Ray just showing up.
They didn't tell me anything about him coming. He just walked in.
Traveling with the greatest generation, one better understands what MacArthur said about old soldiers fading away. Age adds a sense of urgency to every trip, because our time to salute them for their service and sacrifice to our country is fading even faster. Ray Hillhouse died 6 months after his Ozarks Honor Flight. You've heard that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the same is true for every honor flight. Half of the people on this plane are guardians, volunteers, and medical personnel. And it's those same guardians, families, school children, churches, charities, a lot of people send in $1 million to make all 14 flights happen. And then there are hundreds of people who have written thousands of thank you letters to our veterans. For a few fleeting moments on arrival in Washington, the 75 Honor Flight Guardians get to feel the love. Then it's on to an 18-hour day of unloading and walking, sightseeing with 75 veterans, photographing,
Car and Apperson,
nose counting,
Whitehead and Shake,
watering, all right, and sometimes medicating.
What do you have to be prepared for on one of these?
Everything. Especially with the age of these people. You look at the age, they've had them anywhere from 81 to 99.
Also providing personalized transportation from memorial to memorial. For the Hemingway twins, it's effortless.
What wouldn't motivate you to help out the greatest generation?
And now hear this. Veterans never pay their way. You, the Ozarks, have made it happen.
We are proud to say that our grand total for the Ozarks Honor Flight is $4,050.
your next door neighbor, the people that have done this, the school kids.
The Honor Flight commercial came on and I said, can we do that instead?
The college kids. This is truly something from the heart that only the Ozarks could do.
Amazing and phenomenal to come so far so fast in just 2 years.
It's safe to say we were one of the most popular and one of the most successful honor flights in the United States.
The Guardians know the veterans on Honor Flight will never pass this way again.
The time-sensitive portion of it is probably the hurry to get it done right now because, you know, the age of our veterans.
Springfield business owner Rick Hewlett doubles as a guardian and sponsor.
You can see the immediate benefit of the people you're helping.
And after a full day in D.C., back to the airport for
mail call.
Hundreds of people send hundreds of letters of gratitude to Honor Flight travelers.
Tucker, Ernest,
who often tell us they never got this much mail in the service. Among our budding correspondents, third graders at Springfield Sherwood School who put their thoughts on paper for one of our trips.
If I had all the courage you had, I could own the world.
Thank you for keeping our country safe so we can have all these cool things.
I hope someday I can do something as important as you did.
Because of what you did, we live in a free country.
If I go in the Army, I want to be a Marine in the Navy, and I hope my friend Miles is stationed where I am.
I know now that I have the freedom to last a lifetime. Thank you for the work you did during World War II. I hope the war didn't cost you anything important during the war. I hope you enjoy the rest of your life.
Roland Alexander.
Thank you.
William Blanton.
Thank you.
Morgan Weldy.
Thank you, young man. Oh, my word, look at here.
I've received my mail call today.
I'm very excited. Oh, I got an envelope.
Yeah.
Dear Papa David.
Thank you for fighting for our freedom. I can't believe it. Oh, boy, a Valentine.
A note from my grandkids and great-grandkids.
Some of our great-grandkids, we just got 24.
I love you. I hope your trip was very good.
And will always be honored by my generation.
They're going to make me cry. Some of them I didn't know. They just saw my name.
I say we've been treated as millionaires.
And after arriving back in Springfield, there's a loud and lively welcome back inside the terminal. It's all about making what could be the last hurrah the best hurrah. Springfield Shriners love a parade, even when it's indoors. So when the veterans come off the jetway, they strike up the band big time.
We are patriotic. We'd love to come out here and play for the veterans. All these guys come because they want to be here.
And I just enjoy their enjoyment of their day.
Pat and Bob Dickens show up for very personal reasons and memories.
There's one, him holding me, and several of him dressed in his uniform.
She was 3 when her dad was killed in action.
It's like every time I reach my hand out and shake hands with one of them, it's a touch with him.
And in the midst of the cheers and tears of another welcome home for another plane load of veterans is Marine combat photographer Ed Fox. He flew on one of the first honor flights and has plain spoken about why it's important to be present.
Pretty damn nice.
A little overwhelming?
Yes.
Okay.
I cried more today than I have.
Did you ever get a welcome home like this one just now?
No, I didn't even know I was important.
We just came home, no parties, no dances, just went back to pick up our life where we left it off.
In the words of a fellow traveler, sending a plane load of veterans to Washington, $70,000.
Thank you for your service.
Volunteering as an Honor Flight guardian, the people in the blue T-shirts, $300 apiece.
John Fowler!
And spending the day escorting them around D.C., priceless.
I've got a friend here. He's my honorary dad for the day.
I've looked forward to it for a long time. I've never seen so many kind people.
I was so impressed when the military saluted us. It almost made me cry.
Inspiring, beautiful, and the people were so wonderful. I've got thanked a million times.
Super fantastic. I mean,
It was a great day.
I had a good time. It was a lot to see.
I've heard a lot about a lot of these places, and today I've seen them.
The Honor Guard, I've heard of it all my life, and I thought that was very impressive.
Couldn't tell you how much I enjoyed it. I really did.
Get to help the old World War II guys. That's most important to me.
She really lit up, so it's a lot of fun to see.
Better than what I was imagining even.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I do this in their memory. I love it.
It was wonderful, and I'm sure it was wonderful for them.
I'm very proud.
Seeing it on film and stuff is great, but to be here, it's just been extraordinary.
To me, it's the fact that I have spent the day in the presence of greatness. All of these men really did change the world. We say that about a lot of people, but they really did.
And we are quickly losing that greatness. America lays to rest 1,000 World War II veterans every day. We can only hope that something of their valor and the richness of their lives continues to live on in us, and that their self-sacrifice for the greater good will inspire future generations when we retell their stories and remember them.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, white with the foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my